And I need to find out where to find people just like you. So I need you to answer me as honest as you can, all these questions, and then I'm going to take those answers. And now I'm going to know exactly where to look for my people.
You created an avatar.
Yeah. And I'm going to fold that into my social media because I noticed all of those individuals almost all came from social media too.
Mm-hmm.
And that was where they found me and they were like, ooh, I want to work with you before I even know anything else. Like
you resonated with them.
Mm-hmm. And so they had trust in me. They wanted it. I didn't have to sell myself to them. They were like, you're the one. There's no other choice.
Welcome back to Columbus Brick by Brick, the show where we uncover the people, projects, and ideas shaping the future of Columbus, Ohio. And I'm your host, John Steyer, broker and owner of Steyer Real Estate Professionals. And every week, we sit down with local leaders, entrepreneurs, and visionaries who are building this city one brick at a time. Today's guest is someone who truly embodies what it means to build a business with purpose, passion, and precision. I'm joined today by Jennifer Kessel-White, co-owner of the LKW Home Team and one of the top 1% realtors in Columbus. Jennifer's journey from a 15-year career in hospitality to becoming a standout figure in real estate is not just inspiring, it's tactical, it's intentional, and it's full of lessons for everyone building a business in this market. And in this episode, we're going to dive into branding techniques that helped Jennifer and her team attract their dream clients, the system behind generating over 85% of their businesses through referrals, and how she's coaching others to do the same. We'll also explore her insights on marketing challenges, leadership, and marketing strategy, and what it takes to future-proof your business in an ever-evolving industry. And of course, we're going to bring it back to Columbus, what's changing, what's growing, and what kind of legacy she hopes to leave behind. So let's get into it. Well, thank you for being on the podcast here. Really appreciate you coming on. It's a great opportunity to speak with you and learn a bit about you. And so I would love to hear kind of a little bit about your story. I know you transferred from a 15-year career in hospitality into becoming one of the top realtors here in Columbus. Can you talk to me a little bit about that transition, what inspired it, and where you've come from there?
Yeah. So hospitality was a big part of my life. I originally went into the business just to cover income during college classes, and it became a passion rather quickly, which is odd because I never expected that to be the case. But I went from serving. The moment I turned 21, they promoted me to bartender. And then I ended up running some nightclubs, bars, restaurants in town. And it was a great experience to get to meet all sorts of different people.
Sure.
And I am a very extroverted introvert. So I love to be around people and I get energy from that. And then I need to like shut down and go hide in a corner. But it's so fun to experience different individuals and different personalities. And then on top of it, it's like so fast paced. And I am a worker. I don't know how to sit still. I can barely sit in like an hour-long CE class.
Sure.
I just have to go. So that's why it was a good fit for me. And I remember at one point I was making six figures and in the hospitality industry, which is not common.
Mm-hmm.
And I was the general manager of a restaurant and just kind of thinking to myself, like, this is it. Like, I can't really do much more. This is as far as I'm getting here. Yeah. And so I felt like I hit my glass ceiling a little bit. I needed something better, bigger. And I just remember sitting in my office and I was like, I am made for something else. Mm-hmm. This is not it. And then I took about 15 job personality and career tests. And I have the book that I wrote in that was like, answering these career test questions, and you put like a circle here and a circle here and they intertwine, and whatever's in the middle is like your perfect thing. And everything kept on coming back real estate. And I was like, hell no.
Oh, really?
I definitely wanted no part of real estate. By that time I was on my second house, and I remember my agent was always on her phone, and I was like, ugh, that sounds horrible. Like because I couldn't imagine, right?
Uh-huh.
And it kept coming up over and over again. So finally, I went to my real estate agent and I said, I need to talk to you. What is it like? And she's like, It's super hard.
Yeah.
And she was like, how many hours a week do you think I work? How much money do you think I make?
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I was answering these questions and she was like, how about this? And she was like, however, I can see this for you. And she said, I don't say that a lot about it. Which also, if someone came to me today, I could look at them, have a conversation and be like, yes or no for you. Right.
For sure.
And she was like, but I can see this for you. And so I just said, I'm going to do it. And I gave myself a little bit of a buffer. I was like, I'm going to give myself 3 months to get it together, study, take the test, and then just go all in.
Go all in.
Yeah. And see what happens.
And so you've built up now this very successful business, and you've done it through sphere of influence, referral. Talk to me about that. How have you built that business from that 3-month period where you're going all in to now you are all in and you've built this successful business?
That's a good question because I had so many not fun experiences with clients, and that's really where it came from.
Okay.
I, first of all, being in the LGBTQIA plus community, I've had some people that I've worked with that were just like really conservative or didn't know that about me, or if they found out, they were kind of surprised.
Caused issues.
Yeah, and it was never a big issue, or it was never like a thing, but it was like a really, or like I had I've had clients that have been kind of like maybe a little bit more aggressive in the male way I've been like, oh, you're creeping me out, man. And just things like that were happening that I was taking business because I needed business.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I did go from a nice paying salary to $0 an hour.
You eat what you kill in this business. Yeah.
So I was just like, I've got to take clients. Like there was in the beginning, there was just like sink or swim, right?
Yeah, take what you can get.
So yeah, and I did. And that made me feel like not so proud of everything that like I was doing because my loyalties lie within my values. And I was just feeling that I was just working with people to get paid. And it wasn't fun.
No.
And we got into like, if you're an entrepreneur, you see that in my mind, I saw something you see something that's broke, not great. You try and fix it and make it your own way. And that's like what you thrive to do. You know, like I want to see something and go, how can I make this right for me and right for other people so everyone can have a great experience?
I love that.
So, yeah. And I was just like, I need to do something different. I need to talk to my people. That's it. I need to find people that I like to work with, hone in on them and find more of them. This way I can really enjoy what I do. And now I do. Like literally, I love my clients and I speak to only them.
So how do you find the clients that you love and want to work with? Because that's hard. And as you've experienced, it's difficult in this industry. As you mentioned, you only get paid when you close a deal, and you only close deals if you're working with clients. So to be able to choose the clients that you work with it's of such value. I'd love to hear about how you've gotten to that point.
And I will say it wasn't clearly, I mean, we've been in this business, Lauren, my partner, and I, for we both started in 2017. And so in the beginning, it was nothing close to that. But we started noticing about 3 years ago that over 80% and now 86% of our clients are either Sphere, past clients, or referrals from past clients. That's unheard of in our business. Like that is very uncommon.
That's great.
And usually it's a lot of strangers you're working with and or cold leads that you're converting. And we got to the point where I'm like, oh, they're coming to us. And how is this happening? What can we do? So it's really just social media. As annoying as it is that you might just be like, oh, come on, I wanted a better, easier answer. It is social media.
Social media.
And I was getting clients that were coming through on my DMs that I didn't know, but they were like, hey, you have the word badass realtor in your bio. I like that.
Okay.
I like to work with you. Like they were seeing things like just
the marketing.
Yeah, the marketing. They resonated with it and they wanted to work with me because they wanted the experience that they saw other clients get as well. So as they're watching my marketing, they're saying, wow, this is something that I want to be a part of. Not only do I want to own a house, but that experience of purchasing my house, I want to have with her and her team because it's an experience. You're not just going through the motions. You're not just seeing houses. Like you become, once you work with LKW Home Team, you become a family member. And we had an event where we invited all of our clients to, and our videographer just said, like, what's one word that defines them? And everyone said family. It was bizarre.
Yeah.
Because it just becomes like, we're helping you with the biggest purchase, your highest asset. This is the biggest thing in your life, and we're a part of that. So we're going to walk you through not only the experience. A lot of times people give a closing gift, an agent gives a closing gift, and you're like, okay, peace.
Mm-hmm.
Send me your friends and family.
Right.
Like that is just the beginning for us, because as long as we have a good experience working with you, you automatically go into our VIP tier. So we do have like, if you are a client, we've enjoyed it, we've had a good experience, we think that you would give us continuous business and we want to work with you and people like you, then immediately you go into an LKW VIP client.
What does that mean?
Yeah. So that means that you are getting like gifted and loved on.
Okay.
So not only do we give out or like have some type of quarterly something, whether we are having an event with family photos or else we're doing small gifts here and there, we send text messages with like, for example, the last one we did, I was like, the kids are going back to school after break. I'm so happy. I need coffee. Here's some for you, like just go enjoy a cup of coffee because, like, here we go. We're relaxing again.
Sure.
Send the kids to school. Have coffee on us.
Yep.
But it just like little things that become part of our value system. So, for example, one of my jobs is to really watch our clients on social media and see what happens with them.
Okay.
If you are graduating from college, if you're getting your master's degree, if you had your first baby, if you just got a new puppy, it doesn't matter. We have a gift for that. Like,
okay.
If you have a baby, we send out a onesie that says LKW Home Team member in training. I've got the perfect crib for you. And it's super cute. And it comes with like little rattle. And we have a little book we send. We have postcards for any kind of animal you can get, including if you got like a pet snake, it would say, what the duck did you get? Instead of like, we have ones for dogs, cats. So really just keeping an eye on what our clients are doing. And when they're celebrating big life changes, we celebrate that with them.
I love that strategy.
Yeah, we are sure to like keep an eye, see something that's happening for them, and then enjoy, like celebrate with them, have them be a part. And it doesn't have to be just like this. The most important part is it's not just mass gifting essentially, but it's more so what is important in your life, what has changed for you.
Okay.
And that's why we get like,
making it personal.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So you mentioned you started in 2017 and it took you a while to get to where you are now. Talk to me about what were some of the stages that you experienced in that transition? And because I know building a sphere of influence business takes time. I think it's one of the best businesses you can have as an agent. But as you mentioned, it doesn't happen right away. It takes time. Talk to me. Was there a tipping point or a turning point where you saw the light, or maybe an anecdote you can remember where, oh, this is it for us?
Yeah. There's a few, but like there's small little tidbits that happened along the way. The first one was the issue I had with social media was I was in my previous career for so long that I was like, no one's going to want to work with me. Who would want to sell a house that is worth hundreds of thousands of dollars with someone who managed restaurants for 15 years?
Imposter syndrome.
Whoa.
Yeah.
And so I was just like, there's no way. I don't even know what to do. I am completely halted. I'm stuck. Give me strangers that don't know me, because no one's going to trust me. Like they don't know that I can do this. And that was the wrong way to think about it in the beginning, because everyone was happy for me. And essentially I went to this class and it was on social media training. And I went up to the woman who taught it afterwards and I was like, hey, here it is. I've been doing this. Now I'm doing this. And I gave the whole spiel. Why would anybody want to work with me? And she's like, you have a mindset issue. Get over it. And I was like, so that's one thing I always keep with me. Like, it's a mindset issue. You can
You're
either,
in your own way.
Yeah, choose to get over it, or I'll stay there and then be unsuccessful or be mediocre. That's a choice, and you get to keep it. So that's something that has always stayed with me. But then another big thing for us was when Lauren and I went into the industry, we were essentially each other's competition. We were both in the same kind of field. We have an age difference, but we knew a lot of the same people, and we were out at the same places. So basically, I remember one day I was in the office and I had posted that I just sold this girl a house, and she came over and she was like, I was just having drinks with her last week talking about buying a home. And I said, follow up, baby. And then we were just like coworkers at the time, and she looked at me and I was like, is she gonna fight me right now?
Yeah, she wasn't happy.
Yeah, she wasn't happy. And so we really quickly decided like we could be competition or we could work together.
Yeah.
And we went to a class, and it was basically on like what your strengths and weaknesses are in real estate. And we were sitting next to each other. In my strengths, everything that I love to do was everything that she disliked.
Puzzle pieces.
Vice versa.
Love that.
And I was like, oh, we're each other's opposites. And I'm like, you like analytics and you like honing in on data? And I'm like, no, just put me in front of people. Let me negotiate. Let me sell. I am a 99% D on the DISC test.
Okay.
And I've taken it so many times and I can't like change it. I keep on coming up 99%. And I'm like, ugh.
Yeah, you got to be in front of people.
A driver. So I need to like kind of control situations and go, you know, and she is like just a like, give me data, let me sit down, let me go behind a computer screen.
She's an S.
Yeah, she's an S. And so I was like, oh my gosh, we are each other's like puzzle. Yeah, like you said. And so we had a decision to make, and it was a pretty big one. So we got divorced before we got married, essentially in business. We went to a business attorney, and we drew up an entire agreement of like, what happens if this doesn't work out before we even started working together.
I love that.
Yeah. And
tell me about that process. I'd love to hear a little bit more about that. How did that work? Because forming the team the right way, building that foundation is not always the way people do it. If you could speak to a little bit about that, I think that'd be very interesting.
Yeah, well, you have to remember that for some reason in real estate, so many people treat it like you're not running your own business, right?
Correct.
And you are. And it is so your own business.
I say that every day.
And like even tax-wise, it's just like, hey, man, that's a write-off or that's not. And like you're acting like it is one. And, you know, what are you doing? This is the biggest run your own business situation. And it's probably the most abused as if it's not one, because maybe you're under a brokerage, but they have nothing to do with what your actual business is.
Right.
So for us, we went to a business attorney, met with him. And I remember, this is so ridiculous, but one of the things was I have 2 kids before Lauren and I became in a relationship together. I also and I'm like, I bring my lunch every day. This is as nitty gritty as it got. I was like, I bring my lunch every day. I see her. She goes out to lunch every day.
Okay.
And I'm like, if we are 50-50 partners, what does that look like? What does it look like that I'm not spending $20 5 days a week eating out? And she does, you know? And it got down to like that.
Wow.
Yeah. Just because.
So you have that all in a document?
You pack your lunch. No, but it just was as simple as, how does this look? Like, I don't want to hold bitterness. And I think that's one of the biggest things people do with teams, and even having team members join them, is in the beginning, it sounds fun and exciting. But really what it comes down to is, where are you going to hold anxiety? Where are you going to hold grudges? Where are you going to have resentment? Right. And that's going to grow, because if you can see a hint of it in the beginning, like, I really don't like that every time they go to a happy hour event, they always kind of get like tipsy or something, you know, and that's not going to get any better. It's only going to intensify. Whatever it is that gives you a little bit of like that head tilt in the beginning, it's going to get a lot worse. So that's where we were just like, let's kind of hone in on everything that can bother us. What happens if it just doesn't work out? What does that look like when we separate? What does that look like when we sell our business? Who gets what? If one person doesn't want to be an agent anymore, what does that look like?
Right.
Yeah.
I love that you had the forethought to do that and put that all on paper and agree to that. So you started there, and it's still working out. It's still going great. Yeah. Talk to me a little bit about the journey you've been on as you've added agents, the ups and downs you've experienced on your team, and maybe a lesson that you've taken away.
Yeah. So we started with that whole like, you know what sounds really fun? Having an 11-member team. That sounds good, doesn't it? We are going to be so cool. We're going to have like this big lineup. We're all like have our hands,
Right,
we're so cool. That was miserable. It was horrible for us at least. And, you know, we didn't have our systems and processes in place.
Yeah.
So typical. Like we went through.
It's a business, like you mentioned.
Yeah, we went through every basic fail that you can imagine. Like we hired team members before we hired assistants. And it was, a lot of it was like, we did well. We jumped off quickly and we both became successful rather quickly on our own. And then when we formed together, people were like, I want in on that. And we were like, sure, come on over.
Sure.
And lots of personalities, lots of different individuals, and expectations were not aligned in the beginning. Like, hey, we are going to have these values, these sets of expectations for you to meet. Instead, it was just like, we want to join LKW Home Team. It's a party. We want to go be successful. And, you know.
It doesn't always work like that.
Yeah. And somebody the other day was kind of talking about their team member. And I was like, listen, have them come and hang out with me for a week. Let them see what it's like to make this kind of lifestyle for you, because it looks like getting up at 6:30, going and working out, running home, running all your businesses, making sure that I'm up till 1 a.m. still working. I don't hang out. Like I don't get to indulge in my hobbies quite yet, you know, and I make time for self-care and I make time to take care of my body, because I think that's one of the most important things you can do for your business actually, is to be healthy.
Sure.
But other than that, I am still busting ass, like hard. And it is, and we've been in this business for many years, but a lot of it is like we're expanding and doing other things as well. So when real estate is your full day, and then when, you know, other people might be like, hey, it's time for Netflix, that's when I'm like, hey, it's time to work on the other businesses that we want to have.
Tell me about those.
You know?
What are the other businesses you're working on?
So I want to really branch out with the branding situation, because I originally started working in or talking about social media and speaking on social media back in like 2017 to 2020 was big for me. And then kind of took a little bit of a break in terms of like public speaking and really working on teaching other agents a lot. And back in 2024, I was just like, okay, my family seems to be like pretty stable. The business is, you know, running well. And now I want to work on like helping to train and educate others, because that's really important for us. Not only do we want to help our team, but seeing other people, including our clients, change their family tree through wealth is like the best thing that you can do in my mind.
Love it.
We can help our clients basically own homes that are going to generate equity, appreciate highly, and then they have $75,000 in 4 years to go buy a bigger, better, baller home, or else take that money and potentially stay in their house but put their child through college. So things can happen with real estate that they can't in any other industry.
Completely.
So that to us is such a game changer for individuals, that we can do that with not only our clients, but we can also help teach agents how we did that with ourselves. My family didn't own a home like while I was growing up. We lived in New York City in apartments, so there was no home ownership for me. But until I had the opportunity to understand more. So I don't want that, not like it was bad for me, but I want to have my children have different experiences.
Right.
Like my 10-year-old son, we're talking about his first home that he's going to be owning soon for not only tax benefits, but also for his future, because instead of me setting up a college fund for him, he's going to have a house that's going to appreciate.
I love
and
that
that's
strategy.
where he can decide when he's 18 what he's going to do with that money. Is he going to use it to buy more homes? Is he going to use it for school? What is he going to do? That's his choice, you know? I mean, I'm going to talk to him about it, but still, you know?
Yeah. You'll be involved.
Right. So we can do this with everybody, and I want to do it with other agents too, to help them learn how they can not only take out the ugly in their industry, because when, again, you start your own business, everybody's like, this is going to be great. I love it.
Yeah.
And then what happens is you start working with all these people and you're like, what the heck did I do? Like, what
have I gotten
what
myself
have I gotten
into?
myself? Yeah. And it just kind of feels a little bit yuck for a second. You get that ick, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the only way I was able to find like that I had truly enjoyed what I was doing was to work with people that I enjoy working with, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that takes such a massive part of your day. It makes it good. Like when you're co-oping with other great agents, it's great, right? You can't really control that, but what I could control are my clients. So I started working with, and that's where the branding's coming in. I want to have a self-paced course that you can actually go through, an agent can go through and say, this is how I can form my business to look exactly how I want it to be,
Mm-hmm.
so that when my phone rings and I look down at it, I don't get sick to my stomach because that client's calling that I hate.
Right.
Or the client's calling that I don't agree with, or that's too bossy, or that has every family member has a say in this, and they don't trust me,
Mm-hmm.
right? So you're just like, I need the money, so I'm going to do this, but it makes you kind of sick.
Yeah.
Right.
Getting to the point where you choose who you work with as an agent is such an empowering stage in your business. And kudos to you on having achieved that. And now being to the point where, hey, I get to help other people get to that level. I love that. That's such a next step that is exciting.
Yeah. So what we're going to do is really dive into finding out, number one, who you like to work with. So I came up with like these 5 clients that I had over the years that I'm just like, those are my best clients.
Mm-hmm.
Like they trusted me. We got along great. We had the same values. We aligned really well together. If I could have any replication of clients, it would be these 5 individuals, right?
Okay.
So I took them and I was like, now I just need to clone them, but I can't do that because that's
Work
creepy.
with those same 5 clients
right?
over and over.
So I was like, what can I do? So I created this really massive form that's like 40 plus questions, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I told all five of them, I need you to do me a favor. I need you to fill out this form. It is intense. I promise I'll give you a really nice gift afterwards.
Yeah.
But I need your help. I only want to work with people just like you.
Mm-hmm.
And I need to find out where to find people just like you. So I need you to answer me as honest as you can, all these questions, and then I'm going to take those answers, and now I'm going to know exactly where to look for my people.
You created an avatar.
Yeah. And I'm going to fold that into my social media because I noticed all of those individuals almost all came from social media too.
Mm-hmm.
And that was where they found me, and they were like, ooh, I want to work with you before I even know anything else. Like
you resonated with them.
Mm-hmm. And so they had trust in me. They wanted it. I didn't have to sell myself to them. They were like, you're the one. There's no other choice. And so when their friends and family go to sell, they're like, oh, duh, you use Jen.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's just not even in a question. If someone says real estate, they're going to look and go, I've got the person for you. Nobody, they just need to hear the word. So I'm like, I need more of them. So I asked questions that were fun, like, where do you grocery shop? It's all the way to, like, what's your favorite social media platform? What kind of newsletters do you get that you actually read? Mm-hmm. And then what keeps you up at night? Like, what's a fear of yours? What's your favorite suburb? Do you want kids? If so, how many? Do you care about the school system? Are you, like, if you can have, what's the room in the house that you spend the most time? Just like random little things, because all of those answers now become everything that I search for, everything that I talk about on social media. And now it teaches me exactly where to get my people from.
You've built your whole marketing business around that, it sounds like.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
That's great.
And yeah, it's really fun. I like it because it gives me, they're like me too. Like, it just kind of turned out where I'm like, oh, not only do I like you, but I like what you like. So
right. Working with people you like and that you relate to of such value.
Mm-hmm.
So you've now taken your career into a stage where you're ready to start mentoring and growing other people's business as you continue to operate your highly successful business. What do you enjoy most about mentoring and working with people who are looking to grow their business?
So I 100% just love the fact where, like, it clicks for somebody and they're like, they feel like they actually have control again. Because so much of a commission-based business is a lack of control. It's a lack of, like, you really don't know where your next dollar is coming from. You really have to hustle. I mean, John, I literally rang doorbells in January. I swear that most of the people that let me in their house just felt bad for my ass. They were like, this girl is freezing out here.
Yeah.
Just let me get you a cup of tea.
You're working for it.
Right. And I stood outside of Zettler's Hardware. I got kicked out of Kroger for handing out like postcards. In the beginning, I tried everything.
Okay.
And I was like, what can I do?
Mm-hmm.
What can I do to get business? What
Sure.
do I have to do? What will work? Right. And after throwing spaghetti against the wall so many times and finding what did work, then that moment is where it feels kind of freeing. So what can I do for others to give them that like
aha moment?
Yeah, that a relief, a little bit of a like I have some control.
Uh-huh.
I can really take a little part of my business and make it exactly what I want to be. Because everybody who's an entrepreneur did it because they felt like they wanted something different. They wanted to do their own thing. I personally have a problem with authority. And I know that about myself, right?
Well, you're a high D.
Yeah, I know. I'm like
that comes with the territory.
Yeah. So I know that I can't like take management very well.
Mm-hmm.
However, that's not for every entrepreneur. But what they can do is they can learn what they love and then replicate that because they have more control than they think.
Mm-hmm.
And now it's time to like implement that. And the only reason why like it becomes so important for me to try and give that to others is because if somebody didn't tell me like you have a mindset issue, get over it.
Yeah.
Then where would I be right now?
Right.
So why not give back too? You know what I mean? Like that was important for me to hear.
Yeah.
I needed that in order to excel my business.
Right. I love that. So what's one piece of advice you would give to someone who's working on building their brand and becoming someone maybe in the position that you're in now, that you've worked and you've learned along these years to achieve that? As you look to impart wisdom and knowledge on people, what's one piece of advice you might be able to share?
I would say don't try and do it all. Like that becomes a messy thing where you're just like, I'm going to work with people that love dogs and I'm going to work with individuals in condos. And then I'm going to, and you're just all over the place.
Mm-hmm.
Like really get a little bit more like niche specific because that will give you the ability to just like dig in.
Mm-hmm.
I love that when people, will I work with a different array of people? Yes. But I like the ability to say, like, if you are a person who wants to sell condos downtown and that's really something that you vibe with,
mm-hmm.
why not just work with people that do that mostly?
Brand yourself as that person.
If you are somebody who loves like the neighborhood you live in and you're part of the PTA and you help out locally and you volunteer, like that's your people. There you are.
Right.
Wrap it all up in a pretty bow and that's your people. And then they're going to give you business.
Mm-hmm.
Like that is my ultimate goal, is just to have evergreen referrals and have business that builds itself. Right. And it's easily done when your clients are like, I just got engaged and Jen sent us a package on the front door and it's beautiful and it's, they open it up and they're like, we worked with you 2 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Like that is awesome. I can guarantee you if someone says the word real estate around them that they're going to be saying our names.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's just asking for referrals it's just saying like, you're special to me. You're a part of our family now. So we're always going to be thinking about you.
Mm-hmm.
So then they're going to always think about us.
Keeping front of mind to the people that you liked working with
mm-hmm.
so that you get to continue working with people like them. Right.
Yeah.
I love it. Good for you. That's
Thanks.
Great. So let's zoom out a little bit.
Yeah.
You're a top agent here in Columbus. You've seen ups and downs here in our market. What are some market trends in the Columbus market that you've seen that have surprised you?
Right now, it is such a weird time. I was just talking about this, and I sent a reel to all of my team members last night, like with the change in the stock market, with everything that's happening with politics. I just think that we can't let during this time, and even 2024, where so many agents left the business, this is the time to thrive. This is not the time to be scared and the time to like jump in your turtle shell. If you can go out, like right now, what people need is educated agents that are going to tell, everyone's scared a little bit. They're like, we don't know what the future holds. They need a professional. They need someone who is going to say, trust me, I'm going to lead you in the right direction, and I'm going to allow you to still make money. And if you lost a certain amount of money because of, let's say, what your Roth IRA or 401k was holding, that's okay, because the market is actually imitating that loss. And now we're able to potentially come down and offer price, you know? So things on the market, my client asked me yesterday, they're like, so when I purchase, is it going to be one of those situations where it's like, I don't know, 40,000 over asking and 10 offers, or is it going to be just come on in and maybe I can even have a remedy period? And I'm like, what a great question. This is the first time in my existence that I can actually say, I 100% don't have that answer for you.
Yeah.
Every other year, we've been able to be like, this is what it looks like right now, and really kind of formulate that around. I mean, we have 5 listings right now that are all getting way different responses, right? Every part of the city, it's pure mayhem. Like there's no rhyme or reason to anything in terms of like what we're seeing right now. And it's bizarre. And actually it changes each week with the rates and with what's happening on the news. So this is a time to be super educated.
A lot of volatility.
I am 100% watching like the agents that I respect the most on social media. I will watch them. I have memberships to masterminds, communities, so we can just educate ourselves. And then Lori and I educate the team, and really just, you have to be the ones to help your clients build trust right now because they have so little trust in everything.
Right.
Yeah.
So what I'm hearing is be the authority for your clients.
Yeah.
And help guide them because you've done the research, you've analyzed, the current situation, and you know how to operate within our market.
Yeah, and you have to like watch it daily and actually know what you're talking about.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So you've got the team.
Yeah.
Successful team. You're working on the branding business. What else is going on? Investing. Tell me about what else is going on with you.
We last year basically took zero income other than we're an S corp, so we have a salary. It's very low. It's like literally what we need to get by. But standard, we would take draws as anything additional. But we didn't take any last year and just went strictly with all of our, because it was a slower year in real estate, which is the best time to buy. So we were like, okay, we're taking no money this year, and we are going to take all of it and put it into properties. So we have 11 doors right now, and they are mixed between a couple of short-term rentals, and then the rest of them are long-term rentals. And basically, we are trying to just look at different ways, like practice what you preach, right? And we wanted to own rental properties for a long time, but just didn't really see like, can we do this? Are we ready? Where's it gonna, like, what's gonna happen? So yeah, we just went all in. My favorite thing to do is flip houses. I love utilizing my creativity that way.
Sure.
We just finished one in Clintonville that it's great. And last year we did one in Powell. And give me like, it's so cliche, but like the worst house in the best neighborhood. I need it. I am obsessed with a good flip and just looking for things that are outside of the box, super abnormal, and scroll stoppers. That's what I always tell my clients for even their listings. I'm a very specific listing agent. A lot of my team members are like, can you come to my listing appointment with me? Because I'm walking through and I'm like, okay, so Heidi, this is what we're doing. This is what we're doing. You have to take that. And I'm like, by the way, before I start this meeting, none of this is to hurt you.
Right.
Like I'm not trying to hurt your feelings. Your home is very special. I want to get you the most amount of money. Do you want to get the most amount of money? Yes, I do. Okay. Are you sure? Are you sure you want to get the most amount of money out of your home sale? Yes. Here I go then. You ready? Okay, I'm doing it.
You turned me on.
Yeah. I'm like, all right, here we go. And so most of it is like, what are the scroll stoppers? What is going to make your home in Hilliard, where 7 homes just went on the market that, week, what is going to make somebody pick you instead? Here's what they're going to do. You have to have, like, I almost make every single listing paint their door. Like, because if that's the exterior photo, your exterior photo is going to be perfect, and it drives me nuts, some of the things I see online. But yeah, you just have to, I just tell everybody, like, we need a new front door mat. We're putting a wreath out there. We're painting your door. We're doing landscaping. Because if they're not going to stop on that picture,
right,
they're not even going to see the inside.
Right.
So we have to, like, that's the cover of the book. We got to stop there.
You got to get them into the house. Otherwise they're not buying it.
Because I want you to have 7 offers and I want you to get to pick. Right. I don't want you to sit back and say, like, how come no one's coming here? Because you didn't listen to me. That's why.
Yeah.
Because if you did, they,
Right.
So I love listings, and as long as people trust you, then I'm like, we will get you money. And a lot of times you don't need to put in a lot at all.
Right.
I'm big on paint, light fixtures, some landscaping, but yeah.
Love it. Love it. So what's next for you? Tell me about, where do you see your business going in the next 1, 3, 5, 10 years? I mean, you've got a lot going on, but you've obviously planned the direction, and I'd love to hear about it.
I think that our team's going to have to continue to grow. It was Lauren, myself, and Taylor, our team member that's had the most duration for the last, 2 years almost. And then finally, one day I looked at Taylor and I was like, hey, I'm going to send you another lead. And she's like, eek. And I was like, oh, sorry, what?
Yeah.
And she's like, I'm getting busy. And I was so proud because she's made tremendous growth. And I was like, oh God, we need more. We need more agents. Yikes, we need more agents. So as exciting as it was, it's also scary because we had just a small team doing top 20 in our region with 3 team members is a lot.
Sure.
Right. And that was a lot of hustle. And I think we were all starting to feel it. So we hired 2 more team members just recently within the last 2.5 months. So getting all of that going, I think we're actually going to need more. We have a really great partnership happening with a nationwide lending company. So I feel like we're going to have an influx of business coming very rapidly. So we are probably going to have to grow our team a bit more. And I think it's going to be great. And I just don't want to lose, because we are such a family-focused team.
Right.
I don't want to lose sight of that and have those 40 deep and you just don't know what's going on anymore.
Right.
But so LKW is going to be growing, and it's going to stay long within its form as a growing, stable real estate business, while Lauren and myself are also working on branching out in terms of helping to grow other real estate agents and other businesses with their income. And that's just because of strictly passion and excitement and, hey, we did it, we can teach it now. So for branding wise, I have all intentions of public speaking a lot. That is really where I'm focused, and writing a book on branding will be the next 2 things that I'm honing in on this year, and then growing LKW as well.
Love it.
Yeah.
Love it. So as we wrap up here, I would love to hear a little bit about what, if you could define your legacy on the Columbus real estate market, what would you love for that to look like? Say, you're at the end of your career and you look back, how would you define your legacy, or what do you strive for there?
Wow, that's a good question. That's not anything. You should have said that in the form in the beginning, hey, Jen, we're going to talk. I'm just kidding. But I think that if we had any, if let's say it was the last day, the last sign went in the yard, right? And people came back to say anything about us, I would love it if they were like, they genuinely cared about our well-being. They genuinely cared about making sure that we were able to provide income for our family or change something about our family tree. That's the most important thing to us. Like, we are looking at every individual saying, if you buy this home today, nationwide, we're looking at about 4% to 5% appreciation, right? Year over year for home sales. In Columbus, it's 7%. And in suburbs, a lot of them, it's almost 10. So like, we can take that knowledge and say, is this a 3-year home for you? Great. We want to get your home in a place that's going to appreciate highly over the next 3 years. So when you go to sell it, you've got $80,000 to put on your dream home. Let's just get you something right now that's essentially you're living there to make money.
Build wealth.
Yep. And then once you get that, you're going to take that down payment, and then you're going to go and get exactly what you want. So we do a lot of that. We do a lot of planning out, like let's put this puzzle together to see exactly where you want to be in 10 years, because let's work backwards from there to get you there.
I love that. You're operating with care in the client's best interest.
Yeah. So I think that's kind of, for us, it's like, man, they helped us change our lives. That would be cool.
I love it.
Yeah.
Great. Well, thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you,
this
Don.
has been awesome and
So
very
cool.
informative.
Yeah.
Where can our viewers find you? Social media.
Social media. I'm a big Instagram girl myself. Welcome Home 614 is my handle. And yes, follow me. Let's talk, chat.
Love it.
If you want to learn about branding, message me.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect. Well, Instagram, Welcome Home 614. We'll be sure to link that in the description and everything.
Yeah.
And thank you again so much for being on.
Thank you. It was fun.
Good. I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
All right.
Thanks.
So that's a wrap on today's episode of Columbus Brick by Brick. And a huge thank you to Jennifer Kessel-White for sharing her journey, her strategies, and her deep commitment to doing real estate differently. From the power of intentional branding to building a referral-based business, this conversation was packed with actionable insights and authentic perspective. If you enjoyed this episode, please make sure to subscribe everywhere you're listening and leave us a comment or a review, and share this with someone who's building their own business here in Columbus. You can follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube at Columbus Brick by Brick, and visit our website, columbusbrickbybrick.com, to catch up on past episodes. On Columbus Brick by Brick, every brick has a story, and we're here to tell it. We'll see you next time.